Welcome to Crash News AI. Today is May 8, 2025. Okay, forget the usual tech headlines for just a minute. Seriously, what if I told you an AI just, well, basically mastered web app creation better than any human benchmark we've got? And another one is fundamentally changing how we write code itself. We've got the details on these breakthroughs, and yeah, they will impact how you build, test, maybe even how you think about software. But before we dive into all that game-changing stuff, just a quick heads up on supporting Crash News AI. If you're finding these deep dives valuable, the easiest way, totally free, is just to rate, like, and subscribe to the show on whatever platform you're listening on. We'd also love for you to jump into our growing Discord community, connect with the other developers there, and, for those interested in special perks, becoming a Patreon is another fantastic way to help us keep the lights on. All right, so today we're jumping straight into the AI news that we think is most impactful for you as software developers. We're going to try and present it in order of significance, and we'll ease into the more complex bits. And yeah, if there are key terms, we'll definitely pause and clarify. Our mission really is just to cut through the noise and give you the insights that actually matter to your work. Okay, let's get into what feels like the biggest story right now. Google launching this Gemini 2.5 Pro preview, the I/O edition. This doesn't feel like just another small step up. It seems, well, pretty major.
Yeah, it really does. What's immediately kind of grabbing headlines is how well it's performing right out of the box. It apparently hit #1 on the Web Dev Arena leaderboard.
Right. And for anyone who doesn't know, that leaderboard isn't just about generating code snippets, is it?
No, not at all. It specifically measures how well an AI can build, like complete web applications, things that actually work and look good,
Yeah.
aesthetics and functionality.
Exactly. And it's not just web dev, apparently. The reports say it's topping other El Arena leaderboards, too. Coding generally, vision, even creative writing.
That's what they're claiming. It looks like Google's made some serious improvements across the board, but for us developers, the coding aspect is obviously huge.
So, okay, let's unpack that. If an AI can now demonstrably outperform humans on these specific benchmarks for creating web apps, where does that leave us? What does that shift mean?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
If the AI handles the, let's call it foundational creation, maybe our value shifts more towards, high-level architectural design or complex integrations or really deeply understanding user needs and translating those into specs the AI can then build out.
Or maybe even evaluating and refining what the AI produces, making sure it meets those really specific, nuanced requirements.
Precisely. And the improvements aren't just front-end or UI. The sources are pointing to big gains in code transformation, too. Refactoring huge code bases, also editing existing code, and even managing these complex agentic workflows.
Agentic workflows. That's where you have multiple AI agents kind of collaborating on a bigger coding task, right?
Exactly. Moving beyond just single-shot generation toward, more sophisticated problem solving.
Okay. And it's not just code either. It's got this state-of-the-art video understanding, scored really high on some video ME benchmark.
Yeah, 84.8%, which, might seem unrelated at first, but that ability to deeply understand video content suggests a broader intelligence. If you connect the dots, great at coding, understands visual data, creative writing, it hints at a really powerful underlying capability.
So maybe potential for AI that can understand multimodal inputs in our dev environments down the line.
Could be. And the key thing is this isn't just research. It's apparently accessible now via the Gemini API, Vertex AI, AI Studio, even the Gemini chatbot app.
Right. And releasing this just before Google I/O on May 20th, that feels very intentional.
Oh, definitely. They're setting the stage. You have to assume more AI announcements are coming.
It really feels like they're signaling a major shift. But yeah, the core takeaway for me, the really shocking part, an AI model demonstrably beating humans on coding and web app benchmarks. That's something. Okay, let's pivot a bit. Some big news from OpenAI, too. They've got a restructuring going on and a pretty hefty acquisition.
Yeah, the restructuring is interesting. They're trying to formalize that balance between their, original nonprofit mission and the realities of being a huge R&D player. So the nonprofit stays in control, but the for-profit arm becomes a public benefit corporation. The idea seems to be aligning profit more explicitly with the mission.
An interesting structure. And then this acquisition, Winsurf, a coding startup, for a reported $3 billion.
$3 billion, yeah, that's a massive bet. Winsurf, which you might know as Exafunction or Codinium previously, they build AI tools to help write code.
So bringing them in-house. OpenAI is basically jumping directly into the AI coding assistant market, competing with tools like Cursor, Replit.
Looks like it. It's a very clear signal. They're not just providing the base models anymore. They want to be in the developer toolchain directly.
Wow. So, one of the biggest names in AI making a direct play for developer tools. How could that shake things up for our, day-to-day workflows?
Well, it could mean much tighter integration, right? Imagine having the power of something like GPT deeply embedded, maybe even optimized, within your coding environment. It could lead to smoother workflows, perhaps entirely new ways of generating code, debugging, maybe even collaborating.
Hmm.
It's definitely going to change the landscape.
Yeah, one to watch closely. Okay, let's shift gears again, this time to the open source world. Litrix just dropped an AI video model, LTX Video 13B.
Right, open source in the video generation space feels like a big step towards, democratizing it.
Definitely. And the claims are pretty bold. Speed, first off, up to 30 times faster than similar models.
That's what they're saying. And crucially, it apparently runs on consumer GPUs. That's huge for accessibility.
Yeah, it means developers like you and me could actually run it without needing, like, a massive server farm.
Exactly. And it's not just fast. They're talking about features like multi-scale rendering for better detail, plus upgraded controls for camera motion, keyframes, sequencing.
Sounds like they're trying to give developers real creative control, not just a black box.
Seems that way. And another important point, it's trained on licensed data from Getty and Shutterstock. That addresses a lot of the commercial use and copyright concerns.
That's smart. So making it available on Hugging Face and GitHub with a free tier for smaller orgs, that really lowers the barrier to entry.
Yeah, it opens up possibilities for developers to integrate AI video features into apps and tools where it just wasn't feasible before. A
Yeah.
real opportunity there.
Okay, moving into a more specialized area now. Cognition announced something called Kevin 32B. It's an AI model specifically for generating CUDA kernels.
Right. Now, for folks maybe not deep in GPU programming, CUDA kernels are basically these small, highly parallel programs that run on NVIDIA GPUs. They're absolutely critical for speeding up tasks in machine learning, scientific computing, advanced graphics, anything really computationally heavy.
Okay, so super important for high performance stuff. What's special about Kevin 32B then?
The interesting bit seems to be how it's trained. It uses reinforcement learning to optimize the feedback it gets during training. Think of it like the AI learning through trial and error, but specifically focused on making the generated CUD code faster and more correct compared to older methods.
Ah, so it's not just spitting out code. It's learning to generate better, more optimized code for this very specific, very performance critical task.
Exactly. That could have a real tangible impact on the speed of a whole lot of applications that rely on GPU acceleration.
Makes sense. Okay, let's broaden out again and look at how AI is creeping into our operating systems. Microsoft's got AI updates for Windows 11.
Yeah, this is that trend of AI becoming less of a standalone app and more just part of the OS fabric. The Start menu update is mostly cosmetic, but the new AI features are popping up in various places.
Right, like AI in Windows settings to help adjust things or troubleshoot. Generative fill-in paint, which is kind of wild.
And a relight feature in Photos,
Yeah.
better text copying and screenshotting in the snipping tool.
Even File Explorer gets right-click shortcuts for image editing and summarizing text. It feels like it's everywhere.
It's quite integrated. Now, these aren't direct coding tools, obviously, but think about the little time savers, quickly grabbing part of a screen with text, summarizing some documentation you just downloaded. Those things add up.
Yeah, it could subtly streamline workflows, make things a bit smoother, even if it's not writing code for you directly.
Exactly. And note that initial rollout is for Windows insiders on those specific Snapdragon X Copilot Plus PCs. Suggests a link between these features and hardware capabilities, too.
Interesting. A gradual integration, but definitely points to AI being more pervasive in our daily computing. All right, let's touch on a super critical area, cybersecurity. Seeing some new open source AI tools pop up there too.
Yeah, this is a space where AI's ability to sift through massive amounts of data really shines. Cisco launched Foundation Sec 8B, a cybersecurity-specific model. Meta's expanded its AI Defender suite with real-time threat filters, and Project Discovery's Nuclei tool continues to be important.
The main goal here is just giving security teams better tools to react faster to threats, right? Because the threats are getting more sophisticated too.
Precisely. Help them detect and respond more effectively. And the open source aspect is key here. It promotes transparency, community collaboration, and makes powerful tools potentially more accessible.
And while we might not use these tools directly while coding, the security landscape obviously impacts how we have to build and deploy our software.
Absolutely, it's all connected.
Okay, related to using AI effectively.
Right.
Prompt engineering. Seems like there's always more to learn there. There was a highlighted prompt for ChatGPT focusing on, like, intellectual sparring.
Yeah, this is really interesting. It gets at how we need to evolve our interaction with these LLMs. This specific prompt basically tells the AI, don't just agree with me. Analyze my assumptions, give me counterpoints, test my reasoning, offer alternatives, act like a thinking partner.
So instead of just asking, how do I do X, you're saying, let's discuss X, challenge my approach, getting it to engage more deeply.
Yeah. Exactly. For developers using AI for brainstorming architecture, debugging tricky issues, even understanding complex concepts, that kind of interaction can unlock way more value.
It's a good reminder that the output quality really depends on how well you frame the input, how you prompt it. It's a skill in itself.
Definitely an essential skill now.
All right, just to round things out, let's do a quick scan of some other AI tools and resources that caught our eye, just for broader awareness.
Sure. We're seeing progress everywhere. Suno V4.5 for AI music generation keeps improving. Midjourney's OmniReference is trying to tackle consistent image generation from reference images.
Consistency is a big challenge there.
It is. Then you got things like Creepal, an AI agent for video creation, Nioma for AI sales analytics, Voice Panel for analyzing product feedback using AI.
So tools touching lots of different business areas, which might eventually filter into the software we build or the requirements we get.
Exactly. And some useful resources too, articles breaking down different prompt engineering frameworks, explainers on competitors like Mistral AI.
And that piece on AI reshaping student writing, that has long-term implications for the talent pipeline, right?
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah.
How future developers learn and think might be influenced by these tools from early on.
Okay, and finally, just a few super quick news hits from the wider AI world.
Yeah, rapid fire. NBC Sports using an AI voice of a former narrator. Netflix revamping its TV interface with generative AI. The U.S. pushing for more AI chip tracking to limit smuggling. The ongoing Musk versus OpenAI legal saga.
Always drama there.
Always. And more hardware competition like Huawei aiming to compete with NVIDIA's high-end AI chips.
Okay, wow, that's a lot. Today. It feels like today's deep dive really shows this rapid, almost startling acceleration in what AI can do. Understanding code, generating code, creating media, even weaving itself into our operating systems. The Gemini 2.5 Pro news, especially hitting those benchmarks, and OpenAI's big moves into developer tooling, those feel particularly significant for anyone building software right now.
Absolutely. The pace is just incredible. And it presents this dual reality, right? Huge opportunities, but also potential disruptions to how we work. Staying informed, really trying to understand what these tools can and can't do yet, that's going to be crucial.
Yeah, absolutely critical. So here's maybe a final thought to chew on as you go about your day. With AI now demonstrably hitting top performance on coding benchmarks, how does that fundamentally change your role? What does being a software developer look like in a few years? Is it more about augmentation? Is it deeper collaboration with these AI tools? Or is it shifting towards something entirely new we haven't even defined yet?
Heavy questions, but important ones to start thinking about now.
Definitely. We really encourage you to check out some of the resources we mentioned, dig deeper, and consider these questions in the context of your own work.